everyone, Simon here with a review of Deep Space Rush. Deep Space Rush is a side-scrolling action game that's available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita as a cross-buy, as well as Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and PC. The game is a simplistic run, jump and shoot game. It can be completed, well, for the platinum, I guess, within about 20 minutes easy. So that's 2 very quick and easy platinums for you on a PS4 and Vita if you have them. And the game feels very much to me, and I'm going to show my age here, in the Spectrum days there used to be Your Sinclair magazine, and you'd get like a couple of cover games, and then they realised that cover games needed to be done in like collections because you could pump out more, and it'd be like 6 of the best, 8 of the best, and there was always that 1 or 2 games in those collections where you'd just be endlessly going forward and thinking, this game hasn't changed at all during the entire time I've played it, and I'm very confused and it's very sparse and it feels like it was knocked up in a game jam in an afternoon. Deep Space Rush has that feel to it completely. Every room that you go into may change some colour palette, but as you progress through this spaceship trying to cleanse aliens from an invasion, or an infection as it calls it in the game, and that is literally the plot. You kill the enemies, avoid some floor traps or some lasers coming in from the sky or some turrets, and then kind of move on to the next area of the game. It's very quick, it's very simple. Yes, it's procedurally generated and the procedural generation seems to work okay-ish, but it doesn't really change up enough or offer much beyond the first, say, like 20 screens that wants you to keep coming back for more. You can get upgrades to your character that lets you go further, but you'll still die quickly, and the reason for that is that the controls are so over-the-top sensitive that if you're trying to do any kind of precision platforming, it's impossible to do so and keep all of your health intact. And that's because sometimes the procedural generation, if you get relatively far in this game, starts to put lasers next to jump pitfalls and spikes, as well as throwing like an enemy in there as well. And so you'll kind of like smack one, or you'll hit a ceiling and then that will hit the floor and then you'll fall out and then you'll be dead. And so if you fall out of the ship, obviously that's a one-hit kill and die, but other things will kind of drain your health very, 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 very quickly. And so this die, repeat kind of mentality shows the procedural generation gets very old very quickly. You'll see the same enemies all the time, the same colour palettes, the same room layouts then start appearing, and within about 15 minutes you're done with this game. And that's what I mean by bringing it back to the real simplistic roots of the ZX Spectrum freebie games that I used to pick up and still have on cassette kicking around somewhere, in that it's a hollow experience. Yes, you've got the game, but I didn't really feel intrinsically invested in any of it. I didn't feel engaged by it, and it's so low rent. This, for me, is probably one of Ratalaika Games' worst ports over. Quite often they get a bit of a bad rap because sometimes they do go for the easy plat and the easy simplistic route. This is probably their worst offender, if not the worst. So yeah, that's where I place it on my list. Not grand at all. Outside of that, there is a relatively decent enough chiptune soundtrack from 8-Bit. You can purchase new weapons and upgrades. They then drop into the mix for power-ups as you get them. So you always start off like with one weapon and then you can kind of swap in and out as you collect the power-ups as you go along. And they'll be at the level that you've powered them up to in the shop, which is quite interesting. But yeah, outside of that, no progression. You won't want to progress. This sadly is a very hollow experience altogether. There'll be a written review over on higherplayinggames.com at a later point, but until then, you guys take care, and if you're after easy platinums, there's better ones to go for than this. Take care, bye bye. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects run by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share, or a pledge. Thanks for watching.